Is it time to finally go and pick up that Grail card you've been looking at? We'll find out. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. If many of you are kind of in the same situation that I'm in, right? 2018, 2019, kind of getting back into the swing of things. You used to collect when you were a kid and kind of decided that you got kids of your own now. You want to kind of try to bring them into the fold and collect cards, and some of the nostalgia kicked you in the teeth, and you ran off to your local Walmart and you picked up some stuff and kind of started getting back into the swing of things, right? And it was like right as the craziness was taking over, right? I mean, it was, you know, it was pretty, the last 3 years have been kind of nuts, right? And so maybe there was some cards out there that you wanted to buy, but I mean, 2019, 2020, we were just in a whirlwind of rising prices and, you know, everybody hype going nuts, and maybe some of the cards that you were trying to pick up just were way out of your price range. I mean, so a lot of them still are for me, but you know, as we're starting to come down off of this, and as we are entering the junk slab era, stay tuned for the video on that. I kind of started looking at some of the cards that a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I wanted to buy, but they were just way, way out of my price range. And I was kind of interested to see where they are now as we're on the tail end of what is to be this hype situation. So I pulled up a couple of cards on my favorite platform. Thank you to Card Hedge for being a sponsor of the channel. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check out this platform. They have a free 7-day trial. You can check comps for free if you want to check comps for free. But let's jump into this. So the first card that I'll show you guys is a Trae Young Silver Prism. And kind of a situation where at its peak, 37, 3,800, 37, 38, 39, $100. I mean, that was top. That was probably peak price. And as we started to come down off of that a little bit, you know, it's kind of hovering. So this is April 2020. And then, so we're talking about January 2021, hit peak price here. And then it started to kind of go down, go down, go down. Hit a little bit of a jump here in October, 1,700. But then it started to really go down. And now we're kind of hovering around this $700, $800 price range. Now, you guys know my rule. I have like a $100 rule. I don't spend more than $100 on a particular card at a particular time. That typically keeps me out of trouble. I break the rule occasionally, but $800, that's going to be a big stretch for me. But either way it goes, I thought it was interesting to take a look at this information and see whether or not it even would be feasible, right? And I think if you are still a huge fan of Trae Young, which I am very much so, I love the Atlanta Hawks. I love Trae Young. Clint Capella. I'm a big fan of Clint Capella. They have a lot of good pieces on that team, and they have a very promising outlook. So if you are hot on Trae Young and you think that he is going to be a phenomenal player for a long time, now I would say is the time to potentially pick up some of the bigger cards. Now, if you were to look for if you wanted to kind of like I guess a deal, then you can look at the base Prism, which is kind of what I'm looking at. But even base Prism, if you look back to 2020, end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I mean, there was a huge run up, another huge run up here, almost got to $900 for a PSA 10 in the base. And then there's just this slide all the way down to about 130 bucks. Most likely, that's what I'm going to be picking up, is either a PSA 10, or if you want an SGC 10, not a lot of transactions there. Not transacting a whole lot. But SGC 10's $86, so you probably get about 20% discount if you go with SGC. But I still think that now is the best time to buy Trae Young if you are a Trae Young fan, and you're looking to maybe add a couple of these, I guess, bigger cards to your PC. Now, I have some Hoops rookie cards. I have a PSA 10. I have a SGC 10. I have a Don Russ rated rookie. You know, that kind of stuff. Relatively low end stuff that I would have bought when I first got back into the hobby and pulled myself. Don't have any Prism stuff. I never opened any Prism. But, you know, now's the time. Moving on to everybody's player that everybody loves to hate, Zion Williamson. Look, I get it. He is looking, all signs are pointing to Zion Williamson being an absolute bust. But as we've seen time and time again, I'm 37 years old, okay? Zion Williams is in his early 20s, and that generation of kid is a different generation. These guys are all about feelings and vibes with their team, and you know, they need to be able to gel, and the moment that things don't feel right for them, they want to dip to another team where things feel right, and they usually play a lot better. And I really think that that's what's going on with Zion Williamson. Now, mind you, he does have an injury. It's a pretty serious one. It's right on his foot. But I've spoken to some folks that I know that are, that are trainers, that are physical therapists, and they say that, yeah, it's a bad injury, but it's not anything career-ending. And so, call me crazy, but I'm still holding out hope for Zion to be a very impactful player, but I do feel like it'll never happen with New Orleans. He's going to have to go somewhere else. And so that being said, I'm still looking to add a potentially, good card at a good grade. And even though a silver is in the $1,000 range, if you look at an SGC, if you look at an SGC 10, I think the last one sold for $1,000. So they're kind of right about the same. But even again, if I look at base, base Zion right now, had a huge run up. I mean, base Zion was in the $1,000 range, and now we're looking at closer to the $200 range, which is more feasible for me, right? I mean, it's still a stretch. I still got to stretch my budget, my rule, but that's still kind of within my range. I could probably swing that. I can probably talk myself into something like that if I saw or I came across one. But again, if you look at the historical, now is the time. I got a feeling that even if I was to buy one now, I could probably hold out like another 4 or 5 months. This will probably go a little bit lower. But, still, now is the time. It's the lowest it has ever been. Another darling from the 2019-2020 draft class is Ja Morant. He is absolutely playing out of his mind right now. I mean, the kid put a 50-point game and posterized somebody. And just put up, he's playing out of his mind right now. And these are the prices for his silver, $5,900. Imagine the guy that paid $5,900 right now. He has got to be upset. Hopefully, whoever that was, you're really a fan of Ja, and you're enjoying your card, because that's really what all that matters. So, but again, a very steep drop to a floor price of about $1,000, and then it's kind of starting to trickle back up into that $1,800, $1,600, close to $2,000 range. Now, even still, even as if I were to look just like at a 6-month outlook, you would think that his prices are going up, or if I was looking at a 90-day outlook, you would say, oh, his prices are on the rise. I don't know who got this for $255. That was an absolute steal. But I got to imagine that was just some BS lot or something. But, I mean, you would imagine his prices are on the rise. But if you look at where they were, now is definitely the time to pick up a big card like that. But, again, I will probably be aiming for a base Ja Morant, Prism. And, again, if you look at... Let's go back to that for a second. If we look at that 6-month outlook, you would say now is probably not the time to buy because it's on the rise again. It was probably a good time to buy maybe 2 or 3 months ago at $150 a card. However, if you look at the whole history of the entire thing, you know, he was at 500 late 2020 or mid 2020, then peaked all the way up to, what is this? Almost $1,000 for his base PSA 10. And then even though right now at this very moment is not the best time in the world, I would still say it's a good time to grab one because he's only going to go high. He's only going to go up. And if you're looking for an even deeper discount and you're really buying the card and not the slab, definitely an SGC 10 is where you want to look. Actually, they're kind of right about the same price. 225, 225, 130. So you could probably swindle a better deal. You could probably swing a better deal on SGC. Oh yeah, you definitely swing a better deal on SGC. They're 280, 280, and then SGC is like 150. So again, if you're buying the card and not the slab, you can get you a pretty significant discount on an SGC. Let's take a look at 2 Hall of Famers that I wanted to pick up. But again, out of my price range, probably a little bit more in my price range now. This is a 86 Fleer Clyde Drexler. You guys know I'm a humongous Rockets fan. Clyde Drexler was one of the ones that brought a championship to the Houston Rockets. When I first started kind of looking at his cards, it was right around this time. And they were 300s, 200s for a PSA 10. I would probably venture to say, actually, sorry, PSA 8. And then now we're probably in that $120, $130 range. So now is probably going to be the time for me to pick up one of my favorite players of all time, Clyde Drexler. Hakeem Olajuwon, same scenario, looking at a PSA 8 or possibly an SGC 8. SGC 8's around $190 now. But if we look at a PSA 8 and you look at the history, I mean, we were at peak almost $900. And again, just way out of my price range. Now I'm looking at probably around $300 for a PSA. A SGC 8, probably around $200. So again, much better. I wish I could just have mine back from PSA. Have them give me mine back. My 3 that I have sitting over there. I miss those cards. Anyway, you know, so again, now would be the time. And finally, we'll look at 2 more. Chris Paul. Again, when Chris Paul was playing with the Houston Rockets, I always say this. I say this to everybody. We were a Chris Paul hamstring away from a 3rd championship. I don't care what anybody says. But again, same scenario here, right? If I wanted to pick up a Chris Paul rookie card, Topps rookie card, this definitely, February of 2020, 2021 would not have been the time. I don't know who paid $1,000 for this one, but God bless you. But again, around the $200, $275, $300 range, $350 range. If I go with an SGC equivalent, I'm probably looking at $100, $120, $113. So yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse. And then lastly, looking at Patrick Mahomes, because I live in Texas, because I have a lot of friends who are Red Raiders, I had been hearing about Patrick Mahomes for a while. Never really took it serious because I don't follow college football at all. And then this kid came in and just exploded on the scene and did his thing. But again, base rated rookie. We're not talking about anything crazy fancy here, but a base rated rookie, which is a good, respectable Patrick Mahomes rookie card to have in your collection. At peak was selling around $2,000. Right now in a PSA 10 slab, selling for about $1,000. Still completely out of my price range. If I look at an SGC, right around the same thing. The last sale was around the same thing at about $1,000. Man, I would have been love to have that discount right there, $560. But again, I would say, you know, now is the time. Now is the time. With Patrick Mahomes, it's, you know, it's not the worst time to buy. Not the best time, but not the worst time. Because, I mean, it was absolutely lower back here at $350 in 2020. Still base price about $1,000. So I would say Patrick Mahomes right now, it's not the best time. Maybe it'll take a couple of more years of him not winning a championship and potentially maybe him not even making it to the playoffs, dare I say, for his cards to be kind of a little bit better. But Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys let me know what you think. Are there any cards out there that you have had your eye on for a while, but the market just simply drove the prices up too high that you could potentially start seeing yourself buying one now at the prices of the current market? Leave them down in the comments below. I'm really interested to see what you guys are looking at and what you're chasing. Today is a Wednesday, March 2nd. I'll be at the Dallas Card Show Friday and maybe even Saturday. So if you guys see me out there, come through, say what's up. But that's it. Love you guys. Peace.